What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So I have been a 4Runner fan and owner for many years. Why? Because these vehicles are incredibly versatile yet reliable. But like anything else, they aren't perfect. Over the years, I've researched, modified, maintained, and spent countless hours reading online and talking with other owners. So while these vehicles will rarely leave you stranded, they still have some minor issues. So today we're gonna head out of the garage into nature, where we'll discuss 5 common issues that affect the 5th generation Toyota 4Runner. We'll also discuss fixes, upgrades, and preventative maintenance you can do to either solve these problems or just stop them from happening in the first place. So stay tuned. Now, before the comment section explodes, I want to say right away that the 5th generation Toyota 4Runner is still one of the most reliable SUVs ever made. These things routinely go over 300,000 plus miles with routine maintenance. Some of the issues I'm going to talk about today are just minor annoyances. Some can become expensive if ignored, and some have very easy fixes. So let's jump right into it. All right, issue 1, brake caliper seizing, uneven or fast pad wear. So the first issue, and probably one of the most common maintenance related problems, is the brake caliper sticking and uneven brake pad wear. This happens a lot on the 5th generation Toyota 4Runner, especially in wet and salty environments. So the symptoms are one brake pad wearing faster, the vehicle pulling while braking, excessive brake dust on one wheel, overheating brakes, or you may notice the smell of burning brake fluid while driving, and reduced or worse fuel economy. The rear brakes especially tend to wear faster than many owners expect. Why does this happen? Well, first off, the 4Runner has much smaller brake pads on the rear of the vehicle compared to the front. These vehicles also have electronic brake force distribution. Depending on load and driving conditions, the vehicle will basically adjust to the individual wheels themselves. The old brake system had a proportioning valve that automatically applied more pressure to the front when the brake pressure surpassed a certain threshold. That is no longer the case, so the rear brake pads can see more wear under heavy load or heavy braking. So that's more related to the design or engineering. Let's talk about the slide pins. The caliper slide pins act basically as guides to allow our brake pads to float in and out as we depress the brake pedal and release it. These slide pins ensure the pads contact the disc or rotor evenly. Unfortunately, these slide pins can seize up over time if they aren't cleaned and lubricated regularly. Another common issue after 100,000 miles is seizing caliper pistons. Each caliper on the front of the vehicle actually has 4 pistons in total, and one of these can become seized due to corrosion, heat, or a ripped boot. Corrosion and dirt buildup often prevent the caliper from moving freely. So what is the fix for this? Well, during your brake service, definitely inspect those pads, look for uneven wear, look at the side that's wearing more, inspect for a seized piston. You won't be able to compress that piston. Check out those pins, those slide pins, make sure there's no corrosion on them. If there is, just replace them, or you can use a wire brush to remove the corrosion. Then apply a nice high temp ceramic brake lube. Ceramic brake lube will tolerate those higher heat better and provide really good lubrication on those slide pins and prevent future corrosion. So regular brake maintenance is huge on these vehicles. Make sure to flush your brake fluid at regular intervals. Even just servicing or lubricating the slide pins periodically can dramatically extend the brake life and prevent uneven wear. All right, so moving on to issue number 2, 50 to 60 mile per hour highway vibrations. This is a common complaint with the 5th generation Toyota 4Runner. If you've owned this vehicle for long enough, you've probably felt this on the highway. It is a frustrating thing, and many owners do think that there is something completely wrong with their vehicle. They think their drive shaft is failing, their suspension or steering components are completely worn out and they're wobbling. And sometimes these things are the cause, but many times the vibration is just a characteristic of the body on-frame design combined with drivetrain harmonics and your wheels. These vehicles are trucks underneath. They're not unibody crossovers, so they don't absorb those vibrations. It's a solid chassis. So a common cause is aggressive all-terrain tires and imperfect road force balancing. It can be worn U-joints or suspension modifications or KDSS characteristics, But the fix is generally, and the biggest improvement is getting a proper road force balance done on your tires. I can't stress this one enough, as this is usually the solution. A regular spin balance just doesn't work on these vehicles, and a lot of us are running bigger tires and they need to be road force balanced to make sure they are perfect. Make sure your drive shaft is also lubricated. Some owners will also notice improvement after adjusting their tire pressure or switching tire brands entirely. The important thing to remember here is that not every vibration means that there's something broken. All right, issue number 3, rear hatch rust under the plastic trim. This next issue is extremely common in wet climates, snowy regions, the salt belt. The rear hatch on the 5th generation 4Runner tends to develop rust underneath the exterior plastic garnish trim. And the annoying part is you often can't see it until it's already too late and there's bubbling paint. Why does it happen? Well, moisture and dirt gets trapped behind the plastic trim, especially around the mounting clips, the rear hatch handle area. The plastic trim digs into the paint slowly with vibration, so as you're closing your hatch, it kind of pushes in and vibrates and just slowly works that paint out over time, right past the clear coat, right past the base coat, right past the primer and into the metal. The symptoms of this are, rusting or bubbling paint. You'll have rust stains coming down from the trim. The fix, if caught early, is to remove the garnish trim. I would just do this as preventative maintenance. Clean everything thoroughly. If you do have some rust, make sure you sand it down to bare metal, prime, base, put a little clear on there, and then put some plastic spacers behind that actual trim piece and put it in. There's lots of videos online of people doing this. I do think that the plastic spacers work the best from what I've heard. Some people will put paint protection film, or they'll actually sand down the edges of that trim so that they're no longer digging into the paint. Some Toyota dealerships have said that there was an issue with some of the trim pieces and they just kind of curved a little too much and dug into the paint. But I think it's an issue that basically follows all years. Some years are apparently worse than others. All right, issue number 4 is frame rust around the welds and steering linkage. Another major issue, especially for northern vehicles, is frame rust, and specifically rust that tends to form around the weld points and areas that get moisture trapped. Why it happens: the welds and seams can trap moisture, salt, mud, and debris. If left untreated for years, the surface rust can eventually become structural rust. The fix, well, the earlier you address this, the better. A good process is pressure wash the frame, then use a quality rust protection coating. A lot of owners use products like fluid film, wool wax, surface shield, and internal frame coatings. I have a video on this and I will leave a link in the description below. I found fluid film black to really stick well, and they sell kits with the extension wand to get inside the frame. Honestly, prevention is everything with rust. Annual underbody treatments is one of the best things you can do for your 4Runner if you live in rust-prone climates, especially if you plan to keep this vehicle long-term, which I think a lot of us do. That's why we bought a Toyota in the first place.
Another rust-prone area that is often overlooked is the steering shaft U-joint. This is located above the driver's side CV axle. If you look up, you'll see the shaft. Now, a lot of people like to apply fluid film. You can apply grease or fluid film to the shaft to keep it lubricated and to prevent future rust from forming. This will keep your steering nice and smooth without binding.
All right, issue number 5, front differential needle bearing. One of the most talked about issues for the 5th generation Toyota 4Runner is the front differential needle bearing. This primarily affects lifted 4Runners, especially those running larger tires, but even unmodified 4Runners and even low mileage 4Runners still under warranty have experienced this issue. Symptoms are a vibration felt through the floorboards, a humming or droning noise, steering vibration. It's very slight, but you can definitely feel it in the steering sometimes, and often a weird resonance around highway speeds. What's happening is the factory needle bearing inside the differential can wear unevenly. Toyota uses a needle bearing from factory in most 4Runner models, and under certain angles, it just doesn't support the axle very well. The good news is there's a very well-known fix for this. Most owners replace the factory needle bearings with a solid bushing from ECGS. The bushing is relatively cheap if you do it yourself. ECGS sells the kit online with everything you need to do the job. Once installed, the vibration is usually completely gone. Prevention is keep the lift heights reasonable, avoid excessive CV angles, and inspect your front drivetrain regularly if you wheel the vehicle hard. Honestly, this is one of those upgrades that many owners just do proactively. If you have your driver's side CV off for any reason, I would just go in there and do this as preventative maintenance in the future. So, if you're replacing your CV axle or anything like that, just do this while you're in there. All right, guys, so those are 5 common issues for the 5th generation Toyota 4Runner and their fixes. And again, None of these take away from how reliable these vehicles are. Most of these problems develop slowly, are preventable, or have well-documented fixes online, which is one of the reasons why I think the 5th generation Toyota 4Runner has such a massive community behind it. Now, I'm sure there are a few other issues you guys have experienced, so let everyone know in the comment section below what problems you've run into, how many miles you have on your 4Runner, and what fix has worked for you. If this video has helped you out, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye now.